really difficult. And you saw that at Georgia. Defensively, I thought we played well. We had a bigger lineup out there at times, and thought we defended pretty well. The numbers indicate that. Rebounded well in the first half, out-rebounded them, and did get out-rebounded in the second half, but defense was good. Offensively, we right now my leading assist man is Simeon Bowers, and my second leading assist person is Tyler Harris, and those guys, have played power forward and center for most of the season, so I think it gives you an example of the challenges that we have in the backcourt. And now going against a team in Tennessee that is rich and deep in backcourt players, obviously you see the challenge.
It seemed like, Sam seemed like he made a lot of good, could have been assists if people could have made shots.
There's no question. We watched the film a little bit on yesterday with the team, and he had given teammates 4 or 5 really good looks in the first half, and if any of them go down, he has his number. Obviously, we were in a better position, and his numbers are pretty good. So, I think on the break, I think Sim is in that position, does a pretty good job. It's when we get into the half court, then that obviously you don't have to guard him from the 3-point line like you would another guard, and so therefore everything inside just gets that much more challenged because of the spacing. In addition, we also got a chance to play Pat Kime a little bit more at the position, and New Williams played point guard for the first time since the preseason, and I thought New did some good things. He advanced the ball well. He pushed the tempo. He played hard. He made some mistakes that you'll make early in your career, and especially since this is his first meaningful minutes and going up against a guy like Frazier. But it was these reps are going to be good for him.
Is there a chance you make a change then at a point where you're going to be sticking with Sim for?
Well, we played 3. We played Sim, Pat Kime, and New Williams, and I would anticipate that won't change. Thought about Bryce Brown, but Bryce Brown and T.J. Lang are my only 2 other guards, and they both play the 2 and the 3. So they're both playing 32 minutes or so, or 32 minutes at those 2 positions. If I take Bryce Brown off the position, who do I put at the 2? So just simply by virtue of numbers, I can't see it changing.
Not that he would be the answer for anything necessarily, Bruce, but just out of curiosity, why isn't Zach Allison playing?
Just because Zach did a really good job earlier in the season, but when Pat Kime got healthy, Pat was ahead of Zach defensively. Defensively, he was ahead of him, and so that was something that I think was sort of the coaches sort of looked at, and they've both been important to us. Zach was very important to us earlier in the season when we had him playing extensive minutes in the exhibition season and UAB. And then Pat has taken over that position because of his defense.
Can you give us an update on Kareem's status, or?
Just suspended indefinitely.
Is he practicing?
No.
When you say that, Bruce, is pretty much everything on the table with Kareem? Is it on the table? He could have played his last game at Auburn?
I think everything we've talked about so far is all I want to talk about at this point. And let's just, if that's okay, because I've given you the suspension, and it is indefinite. I've told you why, and so then we're gonna move on to play Tennessee, or there's really nothing else to comment about.
When there are issues with both Kareem and the short-term Sim at one point, obviously Sim's done at the end of the season regardless.
Right.
But questions would come up as far as tolerance and how much tolerance there should be for this kind of behavior,
right,
this kind of personalities.
Yeah, and that's why you have, if it had gotten to a point where, simply, run a little bit, or the team runs, or you do other internal disciplinary things. If you can handle it that way, then you handle it that way, and we do. But then when it gets to a point where the inconsistency of the attitude affects the behavior to a point where the behavior is not acceptable to have you playing, then that's what you do. That's how you get involved in a suspension. So, you guys are gonna get a chance to talk to Sim a little bit, and Sim sat out second half of Ole Miss, and he sat out the Oklahoma State game for conduct that was detrimental to the team. And he was able to get back and be accountable for that. Kareem's is most serious.
How much of challenges, and you got off the court stuff, you've got losing streak, and you've lost so many injured players.
Well, what off the court stuff are you referring
Well,
to?
I mean, you have a player indefinitely suspension, so even if it's one off the court thing, it's something.
Nobody said it was anything off the court. If you read my comments, his attitude and sometimes affecting his effort was inconsistent, which then led to behavior that was detrimental to the team.
Okay, well, let me ask a different way. Regardless of the Kareem, this kind of overview, how tough is it to keep when you're losing, when you got all these injured players, to keep the team?
Oh, it's very tough.
Attitude, effort.
It's really tough, because you want to do what's best for the student athletes themselves, both Kareem or Sim or any of the student athletes, because you care about them, and the good does outweigh the bad. But then when you have those situations and you're not winning, it makes it really difficult. So what you do is you take the guys that you have and you do the very best you can to figure out a way to compete and represent. Again, I started off talking about Georgia, and we've gotten on everything else but Tennessee or Georgia. I thought our guys competed. I thought they were better defensively than we were offensively. Having playmakers and breakdown guys are important in the game of basketball, guys that can make plays. And we don't have a lot of those out there right now for a variety of reasons.
If I could ask one other, off the Tennessee game, but have you ever had a situation, you've been coaching a long time, where things get injury-wise, that you have your leading move out, or one of the top rebounders in the conference who's having to play point guard? I mean, that kind of situation, doesn't have to be that kind of challenge.
Well, again, and this is the interesting thing about the last couple of years. We had 4 senior guards last year. KT was the leading scorer in the league, and Malcolm Canada played point guard. Casey Ross Miller played point guard. Antoine Mason played the 2. All 4 are gone. And, KT and Malcolm graduated, and the seniors grad school did very well. Okay, they're gone. And then you take out Taj, and then you take out Dunnins, you take out Purefoy, and you take out now Kareem Canty, and you're left with 3 scholarship guards: Bryce Brown, New Williams, and TJ Lang. 4, really 3 positions, 1, 2, and 3. It's challenging. So now I've not experienced anything quite like this, but that's the status of our program right now. Recruiting has gone well. We got more help coming, and I'll do the best I can with this team, knowing that we got good players coming that should help us make the kind of progress that we want to make.
For the big picture, Bruce, what is it with these last 8 games? Obviously, you want to win every time and pick up a road win, those sorts of things, but what are the short-term goals for the rest of this season? What are those carrots that you're trying to put out there?
Right now, we got to find a way for this group to play, to find some chemistry, and to find some offense, and within the framework of what we do, just trying to execute a little bit better. And that would be what just simply what our focus is not to look at the schedule and go, okay, we can get this one, and then maybe we can get that one. That's just, we're going to go to Tennessee, a place where, Tennessee's beaten Florida, should have beaten Texas A&M, beat Kentucky, beat South Carolina when they were nationally ranked. They play very well at home. And we played very well against Tennessee here, the first game. beat them for the first time since I was coaching at Tennessee. And Tennessee did not play well here. Part of it was us, but part of it may have been them. So it's going to be all we want.
How's TJ Dunham's coming along with his rehab?
Good. I was with him this morning in rehab. Right now, the issue is quad strength. He's built like Gumby, anyways, and so he never had great quad strength, but he didn't need it because he is a Gumby. But now that he's injured his knee, that quad strength has got to get better than what it was before he hurt the knee, and that's what he's working on right now.
Bruce, is one of the issues, I guess, this season that you don't have a guy on your roster right now that can fix things, whether it's attitude, whatever it is on the floor, on the practice floor, in games that you can turn to and say, fix it. Because if I have to fix it, we're already down the rabbit hole kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I got guys that are trying to fix it. I mean, Tyler's trying to fix it, and so is Sim and Bryce and Horace and T.J. Lang. They're all trying to fix it. I mean, there's no question. They're all working towards trying to help have this team be more successful. I could tell you that. I could tell you that in the locker room at Georgia, it was an emotional locker room after the game. There were some guys that really upset, and which tells me that they care.
Thanks, Coach.